This is Comic Picks by the Glick.
Hey, I'm your host, Jason Glick.
Hey, Jason. What's going on? What do you have for us tonight?
Well, I know I said I was going to talk about the finale to Fumi Yoshinaga's epic Oku series, but it looks like Right Stuff decided to take their sweet time shipping that out to me. And I'm talking about the actual shipping process. I mean, like I ordered it, it sat around their place for 10 days, and then it finally shipped out, and it still hasn't arrived yet. So, so that just means I'll be talking about it next time because it's definitely on its way. But good news is, like, I've got something to talk about that I've been saving for a special occasion. I guess that special occasion is just when I didn't have anything else to talk about, but it's something that I've thoroughly enjoyed. And if you listen to my best of 2021 podcast, this may sound familiar. That would be because this is Hellions by Zeb Wells, Stephen Segovia, and company.
Cool.
Okay. Yes. So, a little context, because this is an X-Men title, and the thing is, it's on one hand, it is definitely like spinning off the Krakoa era, but it's also picking up from one of the initial launch titles called Fallen Angels, which was meant to be like the title for oddball X-Men characters that didn't quite fit in like a dedicated series. Problem is that series didn't work out all that well and died a swift death after 6 issues. Then along comes Zeb Wells with the idea to hey, let's do a series about an X-Men team dedicated to solving Mister Sinister's problems. Which on one hand you hear this and you go, no, that sounds like a terrible idea, but at the same time though, it turned out to be a brilliant idea and one that is like great, dark, mean-spirited fun because the Hellions are basically the idea behind them is that they're a team that a various mutants who aren't working well on Krakoa. We're in the early days of issue 1. We're shown how Havoc, he's doing his best to be the good Summers brother, but it turns out the inversion process that he suffered that brought out his bad side from the Axis crossover. Well, that hasn't quite gone away, and so he's still very susceptible to just going medieval with his plasma bursts on people who rub him the wrong way. Then you've also got characters like Wild Child, who's been palming his meds. It's because he doesn't want to suppress his bad side. Ex-Marauder John Greycrow, who is ostensibly trying to be a man of peace because I'm done killing. But when people press him, say when the Morlocks who suffered at his hand during the Mutant Master crossover come looking for him, he's still willing to break off parts of his body to form into guns and just take them out because hey, they shot first. And also guys like Manuel de la Rocha, Hellion, who basically is one of the key mutants behind this Hellions idea because he himself wasn't really a bad person before he got his mutant power, because his mutant power is just making other people conform to his will. So basically he could have been a normal person if not for his mutant gene, and that's kind of scary to some of the higher ups in the Quiet Council. And also then there are characters who were just plain crazy, such as Nanny and Orphan Maker. Nanny, who is who's just a person in an egg-shaped mechanical shell. It's who's just dedicated to taking care of orphans that basically made by her. It's by her nephew, the orphan maker. It's because he's just so thoroughly dedicated to killing whoever his nanny tells him to. And he's also got this mutant gene that cannot be expressed whatsoever, or else people are going to die because of it. So basically, the idea behind the Hellions is that one, it's like, whenever they go on a mission, there's not going to be any chance of human casualties because one of the rules of Krakoa is, kill no man because they don't have the resurrection process. The other thing is that there's going to be a chance, like, there a wide latitude for damage. It's like, okay, so basically these characters are bulls, the world is a china shop. Let's set them loose. And the last bit is the idea that there's going to be therapeutic value in allowing them to express their X genes. So that's basically the sensible mandate they've been given. Problem is that the person overseeing this initiative is none other than Nathaniel Essex, aka Mister Sinister. And before you're wondering, why is Mister Sinister being given his own X-Men team to run? Well, let's not forget that he is basically responsible for the cloning technology that basically allows the resurrection process on Krakoa to exist in the first place. Without this, they would just drop him like a bad habit. But since they can't do that, they've got to indulge him. In his own impulses. Thing is, though, that they've also got Quanon, the Japanese ninja who used to be Psylocke, and if you're wondering, well, wait a second, wasn't Betsy Braddock Psylocke? Well, she was up until she was separated from the Quanon persona. It's in one of the Hunt for Wolverine miniseries. Now, Betsy Braddock is her own person, being Captain Britain in Excalibur. And Quanon is basically doing the Japanese ninja shtick that we all know Psylocke to be. No Psylocke for in the series. And that she's also doing this at Sinister's behest because he's got some leverage on her as well. Now Hellions is basically the first arc of Hellions involves them going to Sinister's old cloning lab back in the Midwest and I'm just taking care of it because we just can't have Sinister running a rogue cloning lab. Problem is that this lab has also has not just produced zombie clones of his old Marauders group, who are also friends of John Greycrow's former comrades, but they've also produced a clone of none other than the Goblin Queen herself, Madeline Pryor. And it's there's all sorts of bad stuff that happens here because when because first of all, when Hellions decides to use his his mind control powers to make Nanny more amenable to Greycrow's comments. It's he just shoots him in the head. It's hey, I told you what was happening if you're going to use your powers like that. And that's something that I really liked about the series because it takes all it's really kind of unexpected. Wells does a good job of taking unexpected twists and turns of the series. He knows he's someone who's been reading superhero comics for a good long while and X-Men comics as well. And he knows what you expect to see coming, but he also has a good idea of how to subvert your expectations there. And he does a great job of that. It's in the first arc, whether it's from Greycrow stoically accepting the the zombified urges of one of his teammates, or Psylocke, just proving herself to be the alpha to Wild Child's feral character, or just the bit at the end when Havoc is just so despondent over the fact that Madeline is dead again, and he's expecting his disappointment to Cyclops about this, only for Cyclops to eventually reveal himself to be Mister Sinister at the end. But at the same time, Nanny has some choice words to express Mister Sinister at the end as well. Because at the same time here, it's this is not about just a series about one character in the series they're dominating themselves over the other. I mean, like, yeah, that does happen, but it's not like the thing is like Sinister, like he's as much at the mercy of his team and of like certain circumstances as well. And it's also great to see that Wells is embracing the like the camp fabulous version of Sinister that Kieran Gillen is like established in his X-Men issues as well. And like his Sinister is very funny. And even though it's like he's got long-term plans, he's got evil long-term plans, especially with the weight he holds over Psylocke. Well, he's not able to completely dominate these things. Like Psylocke basically has ways of expressing her displeasure to him that are very entertaining, that are seen in the arc when they take on the the right. And also when Sinister just has to negotiate with himself, as we see in the Ten of Swords arc, which is basically like when it's like, hey, when he creates a clone of himself, because like it's been determined that Sinister is going to lead the Hellions on a special mission to steal the swords, like from the Amenth mutants. And when Sinister creates this mutant, he basically says, "Oh, well, it's like no, I'm not sure. Go right ahead. You go ahead and lead them." It's like I'll stay here and just assume your duties. And like the other Sinister's like, no, you're going to go out and lead them. It's like so. And the other one is like, no. It's like, why don't you? It's like, no, you go out and do this. It's like, I'm not going to have any part of this. And the other one's like, why don't you just let me pepper yourself so I can be satisfied when I eat your face? It's like it's ridiculous, it's silly, but it's a lot of fun. It's like, and it's great that that Wells is embracing this take on Sinister. And these, and it's like I mean these arcs are just great fun subversions of your standard superhero tropes. I mean, on one hand, you kind of expect the heroes should eventually triumph over adversity, but at the same time, there's that, but there's also just these there's bad stuff going on, because in the Ten of Swords arc, it's basically revealed that the only reason Sinister agreed to lead the team out to to take the swords of the Amenth mutants was so that he could get his hands on their DNA. And well, unfortunately, when he he manages to do that, and that gives the data to the surviving Hellions to take back. Well, it's like the Sinister who was on Krakoa all this time has his own ideas about how to deal with this. And also when it's like when you've got the it's like when they it's like after they come back, and it's like in Sinister is working with Jason Wingard, aka Mastermind, as far as his next Sinister plan. Well, it turns out that Mastermind may have actually been working with Arcade, like the King of Mutant Death Traps, to to sell him out for his own ends. Or has he really? Because the second arc in Volume 2 basically involves the Hellions, first having a good laugh at that. Oh, Mister Sinister's been kidnapped. Yeah, it's like, hey, it's like he's got he's definitely had it coming to him before Psylocke basically convinces them that we need to actually go and get him, because because of the leverage he has over her. And and when they do this, well, there's all sorts of fun, what do these what do the Hellions really want, and how is this expressed in their own mindscapes, courtesy of Mastermind. It's a fun arc, especially at the end when when Sinister reveals his main ambitions through this arc as well. It's good fun. And then you get to the final couple of arcs where it turns out that the mutant he crossed in Amenth, Tarn the Uncaring. Well, he realizes what Sinister has. He realizes that Sinister is taking something from him, and he wants to get it back, or at least get reparations. Because it also turns out that the clone that Sinister sent out to Amenth, well, it's not quite as dead as he thought. And now that he views Tarn as his master, and so he's basically going to try and help his master, get his revenge. At least until when like the Sinister that we've known, like Pissy tells him, "This is what I've been planning, Chimera." And if you remember, some of the data pages from House of 10 and Powers of 10, well, that's kind of bad news because Sinister is basically creating his own mutant super god, and he's got his own plans for how this is going to be unleashed. This is assuming that the Quiet Council has been really dumb about not letting Sinister, but letting Sinister have free reign throughout Krakoa and not being able to keep plans on him. Wink, wink. But also there's some other personal drama going on here because Nanny and Orphan Maker, they're kind of close in their own weird twisted way. Nanny, after she died in the Menth and was resurrected, came back as more focused and a mean spirited Nanny, someone who was just going to just take care of the future, which includes this mutant neonate that was created from the AI created by the Right in the third arc of the series in the beginning of Volume 2. She believes that this new AI is going to be the future, and she just has to take care of it. Problem is that this comes at the expense of her relationship with Orphan Maker, and well, you just kind of wonder how stable is an AI that was created by an anti-mutant anti-mutant artificial intelligence going to be. So wonder how that's going to work out. Maybe it'll be kind of weird, maybe it'll be kind of twisted, maybe it'll even lead to some really weird and awkward bonding at the very end that's going to be kind of impressive that Wells pulled off. Because I gotta admit, it's in case it's not clear, I really enjoyed this series. It's a series of basically it was where what the what we can expect from superhero series. Hey, the good guys are going to win. That they're going to stick to the bad guys. It's right, good will triumph over evil in the end. Except that Hellions is a series where that takes special glee in subverting these expectations. Just telling us that hey, it's sometimes the bad guys will win. Sometimes the good guys may actually succeed, but they'll do it through ways that are really uncomfortable. It's and kind of savage as well. It's and also just and in the end it's just what you're expecting isn't actually going to happen, and it works because every side has to struggle for what they want, even Sinister, because as much as he is the bad evil manipulator of this series, he suffers a whole lot in this series, such as when he's at the mercy of Arcade in the main arc from Volume 2, and he's an Arcade just goes full evil dentist on him. It's giving him an evil root canal. It's in order to make him fully capitulate to his demands. I mean, yeah, that turned out to have been kind of Sinister's plans all along, but even then, it's so clear that he experiences some recrimination from this. It's also funny to see him. It's I'm being attacked by a Chucky doll. Confirm. When he's trying to troll Arcade's way of maintaining his his stance on reality in this arc. And the thing is though, it's before I can fully recommend this series, anyone who's looking for a good subversive superhero series, I will say that this does require some good running knowledge of the current Krakoa era of X-Men. Like I said, if you're not aware of the fact that Sinister, is supplying the cloning technology to make resurrection possible, you're probably going to be wondering, why are they letting Sinister, run wild on this? Why are they even giving him a spot on the Quiet Council at all? But it's because it's really basically more of a, keep your enemies close type thing. And also you're wondering, why is Havoc going crazy? It's what's going on with him? He's always seemed like the normal, likably bland Summers brother. Well, it's you haven't read Axis and you wouldn't be aware of this. So yeah, this series does require some inside knowledge of current of mutant history. It's like and in order to appreciate. In fact, I didn't even know about the leverage that Sinister had over Quanon, until I had until Rob told me, and also read some of this on on a wiki somewhere, I think. Because yeah, it's like there's some stuff that's not fully explained, but yeah, it's like I still think that there's that enough here that you get the gist of things here that it's still that you get just enough to to know what's going on. And also the art here for the series is really strong. The majority of it is from Stephen Segovia, who comes off as a more detailed version of Lineal U, because while U has has very detailed brittle art, Segovia is big, bold, simple line work here. But it's great for this kind of series. And his straightforward superhero stuff is great for just acclimating the reader into assuming that this is going to be your standard B tier X-Men book, when it's really an A minus book, in actuality, in terms of the twist it throws at you. The other artists who contributed to this series, Carmen Carnero for the Ten of Swords arc, and Roger Antonio and Zay Carlos for some issues in the final volume. They do solid work, but it was good to see that Segovia Segovia, or one artist handle the majority of this series. It's good work overall. One other disappointing fact is that the Ten of Swords issues are not collected in the three trade paperback volumes, nor are they apparently going to be collected in the hardcover edition, which is coming out in August. That collects 16 non-crossover issues. I don't know why this is, because I'm going by the Amazon listing, so maybe they will be included in this hardcover edition, but because those Ten of Swords issues, I mean, they're not actually part of the series. It's they're actually Hellions issues that are actually that should have marked as Ten of Swords tie-ins. So these two issues are really important to the story of Hellions as it is, but you won't get them if you buy the the hardcover. Well, at least according to Amazon and their issue listings, or the three softcover editions, softcover volumes as is. I'd recommend buying the issues off of Comixology. Or if you've got, or just read them off of Marvel Unlimited, which the entire series is available. All 18 issues are right now. And really, it's if you can get past the fact that you're gonna need to do a little outside research in order to get an idea of where all the characters are for this series. Hellions is a very solid read, and at 3 volumes and 18 issues, it's a short, compact one. It knows what it wants to do, and it does it very well. And in fact, I'm honestly kind of disappointed because the fact that it only lasted 18 issues. I mean, yeah, it's Mister Sinister running a mutant team doing his own dark bidding wasn't going to last forever. But I think they probably could have gotten maybe just one more issue out of one more volume out of things. So, but yeah, it's and unfortunately, Wells is departing to write Spider-Man full time. Which, hey, I think Webb is definitely deserves him. And Segovia is currently working on the I Am Batman series over at DC. So it's kind of disappointing that they're not continuing to work together, but they did great work on this series, and I look forward to seeing whatever they do, particularly Wells on Spider-Man. It's in the future. So there you go. It's I liked it, and if you're looking for a good solid X-Men read that isn't that is mostly tied to the Krakoa setting, but not wholly tied to it in terms of its overall arc, then yeah, I definitely recommend this.
All right. Well, I mean, not too much else to say about it besides that. So, do you know what you're going to be talking about next time?
Well, since the final volume of Oku is set to arrive on Monday, according to the USPS, then theoretically that should be the next I guess like a series I talk about. But there you go.
All right. We'll catch you next time on Comic Picks by the Glick.
All right, later's.